Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today's video is about high alerts. Alerts during the travel, when you're traveling to outside of the United States for stamping or for any other purpose. What are the things that you should know? Secondly, what about stampings, extensions, amendments, and so on? What are the things that you should know? Job changes, applying for EAD, applying for 485, and upcoming mandatory interviews. I wasn't planning to make this video, but looking at the comments on my previous videos, I thought this information was critical at this point of time. So what are the things that are of high alert in terms of employment-based immigration in the new Trump administration? Let's look at that. If you're here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Check out the links in the description because those are affiliate links. Also hit the like and subscribe button because that also greatly helps the channel. Your comments are really important for a lot of people who view my videos and also for me to get ideas for my new topic. And towards the end, I'm going to announce the giveaway winner, so stay tuned for that. Now, one important thing for the people who just received their green card is how to maintain your green card. Now, no rules have changed in regards to specifically maintaining your green card. Those rules have been there for a long time, and I have made a special video on how to maintain your green card without risking it to be abandoned. So the most important thing that you need to make sure is to update your social security number with the information that now you are a permanent resident. So that is one thing. The second thing is make sure you always carry your green card when you go out of country. The reason is when you are coming back into this country, United States is going to look at you as a permanent resident. They don't care which passport you are traveling on and so on. In fact, they may not even ask for your passport while you return. As long as you have a green card and a valid green card, you can enter the country. Now, the important thing to note to answer the question is, when you became a green card holder, you told USCIS that you are intending to live in the United States for the foreseeable future or permanently. What does that mean? It means that you are going to maintain the residency, you're going to obey the laws over here, you're going to pay taxes, and you are going to make a life in this country. Now, if you leave the United States for a significant amount of time, that will raise questions when you come back. Typically, that time frame starts after 6 to 7 months. If you go out of the country without notifying USCIS or without getting an authorization for re-entry permit for an extended stay, say for instance, you are deputed through your company to an overseas office for a significantly longer time, such as 1 year or 2 years. Before leaving the country, leaving the United States, you should apply for re-entry permit. It's also I-131, which is also advanced, which may be also called advanced parole. But that is what you are telling the USCIS, letting them know that I'm not abandoning my permanent residency, but I'm going for work for 6 months, 1 year or 2 years, whatever that time frame may be. And then you intend to come back. Because if you don't do that, after 1 year of stay outside of the United States, your green card could come into trouble. When you are returning back after 1 year or more than 1 year, you may be stopped at the port of entry and questioned or even revoked of your green card. So that is the risk that you carry if you stay for extended period of time outside the country. Now, if you are gone for like 1 month or 2 months, for a couple of months, that's perfectly fine. You can travel and come back, no problem. So that is the clarification that I wanted to make for the green card. The second clarification I wanted to make is also that you are free to change your job after you get your green card. A lot of people ask me, do I have to stay in my current job for a certain duration of time, say 1 month or 6 months? That is all incorrect information. USCIS does not stipulate anybody to stay in their current job even after you have gone through the employment case based green card. So as soon as you get your green card, you are free to do any job you want. You can do your business. You can stay at home. You can do whatever you want, any lawful thing that you want. Okay. Now quickly touch on birthright citizenship before we go into the travel situations.
And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video. Have you ever done the Google search of your own name? Look what I have found when I did mine. Here's what comes up. While some of this information is relevant, the other makes me uncomfortable that my information is exposed for a sale like this. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, or anybody else who may want to target you. Your full name, email address, home address, your relatives' names, health information, it's all out there. That's why I have been using Aura, sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out request for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use this information to help them access my social media accounts, bank accounts, or other sensitive information. Aura does so much more to protect my information and my family's information from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up, and best of all, I get everything for one affordable price. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like locking the front door but leaving your back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work of keeping me safe so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to my link which is on the screen and in the description and start your free 2 weeks trial. So protect your information, your family, and have a peace of mind. That's Aura.
Now, birthright citizenship, now many people put comments in my videos that this is no way going to go away. Now remember, birthright citizenship has been in the constitutional amendment number 14, since last 180 or 200 years, whatever it is. It had not been challenged in the courts for over 100 years. And even then, it was not clarified whether the birthright citizenship was for everybody. Now, Trump administration on day one gave an executive order to end birthright citizenship for people or children whose parent is not a green card holder or a US citizen. Now, this is a significant shift from the general understanding that everybody who is born in the US gets a US citizenship. This was already put on stay or on temporary restraining order by a judge in Washington state, but that stay is only for 14 days. Now, this will have to find its way through all the lower courts up until Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will decide what is the interpretation of the 14th Amendment, whether it involves everybody to get the citizenship if they are born, or if there are any exclusions such as suggested by the Trump administration. We'll wait to see. Whatever decision Supreme Court gives, that will be the law of the land. Now, if in future, if it's again challenged, then it could also go through the Congress with 2/3 of majority, at least 2/3 of majority, which is 67 votes have to pass in Senate, and also 3/4 of the states have to ratify. Ratify in the sense they have to vote on it in their internal state level voting systems and then come up with a decision to give it to the federal government. So that is the process. Now, it is an uphill battle if Trump wants to do anything about it, but all eyes will be on the Supreme Court decision, what decision they make, whether they lean towards Trump's decision or whether they lean towards the current understanding of how birthright citizenship works. So that is what it is. So nobody can make blanket statement or assumptions that it's here to stay. We'll see what happens, however long it takes. I think in the second Trump administration, they are most determined to do or carry out things to the fullest extent. But for those who are worried, who are having kids between now and the Supreme Court decision, I don't think they have to worry about that, because in the meantime, USCIS has to grant citizenship by the current understanding of the law. Now, a quick question. Is there going to be any change to the N400 application, which is a citizenship application or the test? From my quick search, I did not find any news related to changes in the citizenship test. Currently what it stands is there are 10 questions that are verbally asked at the citizenship interview. And as long as you answer 6 of them correctly, they just stop the test and they pass you. Now, there are 100 questions that you can go through, and we Indians are very good at rattabaji, which is learning them by heart. So I have no doubt that there will be any problem with anybody who has studied for citizenship exam. So that's that. Now, one question, what if your H1B gets denied? Now, I'm assuming that the question, and we'll go through several different scenarios. If your initial H1B gets denied, obviously you cannot work for that employer filed for your H1B. Now, second question is if your transfer gets denied. Now, if your transfer gets denied and if your previous petition is still active, you can continue to work for your current employer, but not just for the new employer. Now, you have to be very specific. If the USCIS revokes your current H1B as well, then that is going to be a problem. But if the transfer petition is denied, that means that they did not allow you to work for the next employer, but you can still continue to work for your current employer because that petition of H1 is still active. Now let's talk about H1B extensions in general in the new Trump administration. What is going to happen? Starting January of 17th, there are regulations in place for changes related to the H1B extensions and approvals. Now, the site visits, or which is also called FDNS visits, are becoming more and more common. Now, the USCIS wants to know whether you are working at the site location that you mentioned in your extension or H1B application. If you are working for that company, if you are getting paid the appropriate salary as per the prevailing wage from your company, these are the kind of questions that they will ask in the site visit, and your company will have to collaborate or support this site visit. They will have to answer this site visit, otherwise they are going to get into trouble. So these site visits are significant. Make sure if your application is if your H1B application is in process with USCIS, make sure you follow all the rules of H1B, such as if you have given a work address, be at the work address location just in case, and be prepared to answer all these questions. Because if you don't, you will immediately get an NOIR, which is notice of intent to deny, and that will result in denial of your application. So take these site visits very seriously. Now, the shift that is going to happen is they are going to find any reason they can to deny your H1, or for that matter, any other visa. Even for the technical reasons such as mistake in your application or incorrect information or missing information can be could be made as a ground for denial. So that has happened in the previous Trump administration. So be very careful when you are filing these extensions or amendments and so on, and file them timely. Whenever you have an extension coming up, file them at least 6 months in advance. When you have changed your location, or if there is a material change to your job, make sure your company files for an amendment at the right time, because that is going to be very critical going forward. Now, before we go into the travel, one more quick thing. H4 EADs or in general, any EADs are taking a long time to process. They are taking up to 6 to 8 months or even longer in some instances to get the renewals come in. Now, fortunately, we have 540 days automatic renewal or extensions for EADs as long as you have filed for your EAD extensions. So make sure that you file for your EAD extension on time, because that receipt number or receipt notice will serve as your extension until you get your actual EAD back from USCIS. The extended EAD, I mean. Now, many questions on whether H4 EAD will be discontinued. It's always a possibility. It was a possibility in the last administration. They couldn't get it done in the 4 years. Let's see what happens during this administration. It's going to be a longer process for them to follow, because it's going to be through regulation, and regulations usually take months or even years. Now, the last point I want to make is very important, and this is for travel. Traveling outside of the United States when you are on visa or non-immigrant visa. So if you don't have a green card or a citizenship, and if you plan to travel, be very careful. The purpose of your travel is going to be very important. Make sure you attend your parents. Make sure if they need medical help, you do that, because that's your obligation. But be sure to cover all the bases in terms of your stamping and being able to come back. So what I mean by that, make sure that you have stamping in place before you leave the country and come back. Because if you are taking an appointment at any consulate in India, right now the scrutiny level has increased a lot. Lot of 221Gs or administrative processing, and it can take from 1 week anywhere to couple of months. I have seen everything in between. I have had like 6 to 7 calls just in the last week related to travel. So that's why I'm saying be cautious during the travel. Things are going to get a little bit stricter, and there is going to be extreme vetting for any kind of visa that you apply at the consulate. It doesn't matter if it's H, L, B1 and so on. Have all the documentation in place. Do not miss any data point in the form that you are filling out. Make sure you have extra documentation ready and submitted at the time when requested. Make sure you follow all the guidelines on 221G, whatever they have asked for additional documentation. provide that in a timely manner. And most of all, even after you get your visa, when you are doing the port of entry, make sure you have extra documentation along with you so that you do not get into trouble. What do I mean by that? If you are coming back on H1, try to get an employment verification letter from your company just in case. Keep it with you while entering back. Keep a couple of months of pay stubs with you to prove that you are actually working for that company. Make sure if you are traveling with your family, just to carry a copy of your marriage certificate. These are the documents that nobody has ever asked during the port of entry, but now just in case, because of this extreme vetting and things that we are listening, it's always better to be over prepared than under prepared. And if you can avoid travel, if your travel is just for attending some function or a wedding, which can be for leisure, I would say hold on to that trip. Let's see what happens in the next couple of months in regards to travel. If things go really bad, then you can avoid traveling at this point of time. But if we come to know that it's not a big deal right now, things are still the same, which I think are not, they are turning for the worst, you should really think about for what reason are you traveling. Now, I'm going to do another masterclass in a couple of weeks, so check out the link in the description. I'll put a date on it if you want to do the masterclass on EB1A. Also, if you want to talk to me for 30 minutes, book a call with me on Calendly. And before I end today's video, I want to announce the giveaway winner. And the giveaway winner is, congratulations. Thank you for your like and subscribe to my channel, and I really appreciate your support. Also, to all the people who have been liking and subscribing and viewing my videos for a long time, I really appreciate it. It's because of people like you who come back to me when you receive your green card, your visa, or whatever the situation may be, and let me know how I was able to help you. That keeps me going. That keeps me motivated. That gives me utmost job satisfaction, even more so than my primary job. So keep them coming. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.